that as a result of the sustained tension and specific developments in the border areas, our overall relationship with China was bound to be impacted adversely. In the new circumstances, it was obviously not possible to continue the normal exchanges, interactions, and activities as in the past. In this regard, we made clear that the development of our ties were contingent on the principles of mutual sensitivity, mutual respect, and mutual interest. Throughout this period, honorable members would also be aware that government has maintained that India-China relations cannot be normal in the absence of peace and tranquility in the border areas. The combination of a firm and principled stance on the situation in the border areas, as well as a clearly articulated approach to the totality of our ties, have been the foundation of our engagement with China for the last 4 years. We have been very clear that the restoration of peace and tranquility would be the basis for the rest of the relationship to move forward. Since 2020, our engagement was therefore focused on these objectives. This took place at various levels involving different arms of the government. I myself have had meetings with my Chinese counterpart, as indeed has my senior colleague, Raksha Mantriji. Our NSA has also engaged his Chinese counterpart, both being special representatives on the boundary question. More detailed discussions were conducted by the Working Mechanism for Cooperation and Coordination, WMCC, at the diplomatic level. Its military counterpart was the Senior Highest Military Commanders Meeting, SHMC mechanism. The interactions were naturally very tightly coordinated with a combined presence in the negotiations of both diplomatic and military officials. Since June 2020, 17 meetings of the WMCC and 21 rounds of SHMC have taken place. So, in this background, I would like, sir, to inform the House today about the agreement reached on 21 October 2024 regarding Depsang and Demchok. The twin considerations of an unstable local situation and an impacted bilateral relationship were clearly the drivers for these recent endeavors. These two areas have been the focus of our discussions in both WMCC and SHMC with the Chinese side since September 2022, when the last disengagement agreement was concluded at Hot Springs area. In the lead up to the October 21 agreement, I had discussed both the specific disengagement issue as well as the larger relationship with my Chinese counterpart in Astana on 4 July and Vientiane on 25 July. Our national security advisors, ours and the Chinese, met in St. Petersburg on 12 September, and the problem in these two areas pertained primarily to obstructions of our long-standing patrolling activity. In Demchok, there was also the question of access by our nomadic population to traditional grazing grounds, as well to sites of significance to the local people. As a result of this recent understanding, arrived at, after intensive negotiations, resumption of patrolling to the traditional areas is underway. It was initially tested by sending out patrols for verification of disengagement on the ground and is being followed up by regular activities as per the agreed understanding. Following the October 21 understanding, Prime Minister and President Xi Jinping had a meeting on the sidelines of the BRICS summit in Kazan on October 23. They welcomed the understanding and directed the foreign ministers to meet and stabilize and rebuild the relationship. The special representatives are also to oversee the management of peace and tranquility, besides exploring a fair, reasonable, and mutually acceptable solution to the boundary question. In pursuance of that, I recently held discussions with Foreign Minister Wang Yi again on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Rio de Janeiro on November 18th. Raksha Mantriji has also met the Chinese Defense Minister Dong Jun at the ASEAN Defense Minister ADMM Plus meeting in Vientiane on November 20. The two ministers discussed progress on the recent agreement on disengagement, the need to address de-escalation, and the requirement of strengthening confidence-building measures. They agreed on the importance of continuing meetings and consultations at various levels. So, the House will remember that on October 21, the October 21 agreement is the latest in the series of an understanding in regard to the resolution of the situation at various friction points in eastern Ladakh. In the aftermath of the events in May-June 2020 and the initial disengagement in Galwan Valley in July 2020, there was a foreign ministers meeting in Moscow in 10 September 2020. The government's position at that time was that the immediate task was to ensure comprehensive disengagement of troops in all the friction areas. It was emphasized that the large concentration of troops along the LAC was not in accordance with the 1993 and 1996 agreements. The Indian side, it was made clear, would not countenance any attempts to change the status quo unilaterally. We also expected that all agreements and protocols pertaining to the management of the border areas would be scrupulously followed. Sir, through you, I would like to inform the House that disengagement has been achieved in full in eastern Ladakh through a step-by-step process, culminating in Depsang and Demchok. With the task of disengagement completed, it is now our expectation that discussions would commence with regard to the remaining issues that we have placed on the agenda. For the benefit of honorable members, I would also flag to your attention previous positions articulated by the government in Parliament on this issue. On 15th of September 2020, Raksha Mantri ji had made a detailed statement on Chinese attempts to transgress the LAC and the appropriate response given by our armed forces. On the 11th of February 2021, Raksha Mantri had again briefed the House about our disengagement agreement in the north and south banks of the Pangong Lake. Thereafter, in August of 2021, a third phase of disengagement took place in the area of Gogra, whereby troops would henceforth be in their respective bases. The next step took place in September 2022 pertaining to the Hot Springs area. Again, forward deployments ceased in a phased, coordinated and verified manner, resulting in the return of troops to their respective areas. The most recent agreement, the October 21 agreement, comes in the wake of the earlier ones. It completes the first phase of what we had agreed to in Moscow in September 2020. As members are aware, there is a long history of frictions, transgressions and face-offs in several sectors of the India-China border. This goes back to Bara Hoti from 1954, to Longju in 1959, to Sumdurongchu from 1986-1995, and Depsang in 2013, amongst others. In the past, earlier governments have agreed to a range of steps to diffuse situations that have arisen at different times, including offers on our side to create demilitarized zones, limited non-patrolling zones, relocation or withdrawal of posts, disengagement of troops, and dismantlement of structures. Different locations have seen different solutions being examined. Where the October 21 understanding is concerned, our objective has been to ensure patrolling as in the past to the relevant patrolling points, as well as resumption of grazing by our civilians as per long-standing practice. This is indeed what we have agreed upon in regard to Depsang and Demchok. In a few other places where friction occurred in 2020, steps of a temporary and limited nature were worked out based on local conditions to obviate the possibility of further friction. This, I must stress, applies to both sides and can be revisited as the situation demands. In that sense, our stance has been resolute and firm and serves our national interests fully. The ensuring of our national security in this manner is the result of cumulative and coordinated endeavors of many parts of the government, obviously centered around our defense and security forces. The competence and professionalism of our services in this period was displayed in our speedy and effective counter-deployment. In the negotiations with China, the defense and diplomatic arms worked in lockstep to ensure that our national interests were comprehensively met. So, in that context, the House would also recognize that there has been a significant improvement in the border infrastructure, which has made such effective counter-deployment possible. This is reflected, amongst others, in the increase of border infrastructure allocations in the last decade. The Border Roads Organization, BRO, alone has incurred 3 times the expenditure level of what it was a decade ago. Whether it is the length of the road networks, of the bridges, or the number of tunnels, there has been a substantial increase over the earlier period. Notable milestones in recent years include the Atal Tunnel to Lahul Spiti, the Sela and the Nechifu tunnels to Tawang, the Umlingla Pass Road in southern Ladakh, and the extended opening of the Zojila axis. Work is progressing on some strategically important roads and airfields in Ladakh. The adoption of new technologies in high altitude, remote, inaccessible, and permafrost areas has also been significant. All of this reflects the government's firm commitment to protecting our borders and ensuring that our armed forces get the facilities and the logistical support that they deserve. Finally, sir, let me share with honorable members our expectation regarding the direction of our ties with China in the near future. Our relationship had progressed in many domains, but was obviously negatively affected by recent events. We are clear that the maintenance of peace and tranquility in border areas is a prerequisite for the development of our ties. In the coming days, we will be discussing both de-escalation as well as effective management of our activities in the border areas. The conclusion of the disengagement phase now allows us to consider other aspects of our bilateral engagement in a calibrated manner, keeping our national security interests first and foremost. In my recent meeting with Foreign Minister Wang Yi, we reached an understanding that the special representatives and the foreign secretary level mechanisms will be convening soon. I thank you, sir, and the honorable members for their attention, and I'm confident that the government has the full support in addressing the complexities of this important issue.
इसमें डिस्कशन नहीं होता है। नंबर 14 बैंकारी विधिया संशोधन विधेयक 2024 बैंकिंग लॉ अमेंडमेंट बिल 2020 सदन नियमों प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है और नियम प्रक्रिया में हमारे लोकसभा में ये है कि स्टेटमेंट के बाद कोई भी सप्लीमेंट्री प्रश्न नहीं पूछा जाता। इधर नियम ये आपके कानून बनाए हुए हैं, संसद के बनाए हुए कानून हैं। ऑनरेबल फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर।
Sir, I rise to move that the bill further to amend the Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, the Banking Regulation Act 1949, the State Bank of India Act 1955, the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act 1970, and the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertakings Act 1980 be taken into consideration.
आप कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं?
I'll reply, sir.
एक मिनट रूल 372 लोकसभा में किसी भी विषय पर अध्यक्ष की सहमति से मंत्री द्वारा वक्तव्य दिया जा सकेगा, किंतु जिस समय वक्तव्य दिया जाएगा कोई प्रश्न नहीं पूछा जाएगा। द रूल्स, आपको कोई प्रश्न पूछना है, आप क्लियरिफिकेशन करना है, आप करनी है, पर अभी सदन तो नियम प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है और सदन नियम प्रक्रियाओं से चलता है तो नियम प्रक्रिया से चलाना पड़ता है। ओके, ऑनरेबल फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर, आप नोटिस दे दीजिए, मैं देख लूंगा उसको।
Sir, in the Union Budget budget of 23-24, sir. It was announced, and I had read it. I like to quote, sir, to improve bank governance and enhance investors' protection. Certain amendments to the Banking Regulation Act, the Banking Companies Act, and the Reserve Bank of India Act are proposed, unquote, sir. So in order to achieve the same, amendments to the following acts are being proposed through the banking laws. So
बोलिए कौन सा रूल्स है, बताइए रूल्स.
रूल नंबर करो सर. Shankar and call. Sir, mic दे दो सर. Sir, Shankar and call. Mic. Sir, practice and procedures of the Parliament. Shankar and call. Sir, 155 page number, leader of opposition.
No call,
Sir, the process of parliamentary government is based on mutual forbearance between the opposition and the...
Sir, a total of 19 amendments are being discussed here. Reserve Bank of India Act 1934. There is one amendment which is proposed. Banking Regulation Act 1949 has 12 amendments proposed. State Bank of India Act 1955 has 2 amendments. Banking Companies and Acquisition Transfer of Undertaking Act 1970 has 2 amendments. And Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer of Undertaking Act 1978 have 2 amendments. So of the 19 amendments that we are talking about, we are proposing through the Banking Laws Amendment Bill, the 19 amendments to be brought in. And of that, I would like to highlight 7 of the highlights of the...
India have started the Border Gavaskar Trophy series in dominating fashion and are currently 1-0 up in the 5-match series. India defeated the mighty Australians by 295 runs in Perth, a result that nobody saw coming. India were coming off a 3-0 home test series loss against New Zealand. Critics and fans all over the world thought that the India vs Australia test series will be a cakewalk for Pat Cummins and his side, considering the fact that they are playing at home, but the series opener has been nothing but a reality check for the hosts. Australia had hosted India in Perth and given themselves the best chance to start this important series in style, but the outcome was completely different as it did not go Australia's way. The next test match will be played at the iconic Adelaide Oval and will be a pink ball test. Adelaide and pink ball test are 2 words that are enough to spark a state of panic in the minds of the Indian cricket team fans. After all, who can forget 36 all out? India at the moment look like a better side as compared to the start of the series. But one overseas victory doesn't wash away the blemish of a 3-0 home test series loss against New Zealand. However, the manner in which India grinded Australia in Perth was nothing but a very strong statement. India, in order to prepare for the test match, played a 2-day pink ball warm-up game against the Prime Minister's 11, a contest that they ended up winning. And this was the first time that India's ace speedster Mohammad Siraj bowled with the pink cherry under lights. Siraj might face his toughest challenge if and when he runs in to bowl in the pink ball test, but he seemed to have gotten a fair idea about how things work with the pink cherry. I have heard that the ball swings a lot under the lights, but I haven't yet bowled with it under lights. So when we go to Adelaide and practice, we will try that. And the more practice we get, we'll know more about what we have to do. I think that with the pink ball, it's better to bowl back of the length, Siraj said. India's full-time test skipper Rohit Sharma,
the chairman and the whole-time directors in cooperative banks from 8 years to 10 years. So then the 4th amendment to the Banking Regulation Act, there are 12 amendments only to the Banking Regulation Act, but I'm highlighting some of them. So the 4th one is the amendment to Section 5 of the Banking Regulation Act 1949, which will redefine substantial interest. The expression substantial interest is getting redefined. The threshold for shareholding of a substantial interest will be increased from 5 lakh rupees to 2 crore rupees, reflecting the present value as the same as was last fixed in 1968. The fifth of the Banking Regulation Amendment Act, sir, I already mentioned that there are total of 19 amendments that we are coming along with now. And of the 19, 12 pertain to the Banking Regulation Act. So the fifth one is amendment to subsection 3 of the section 16 of the Banking Regulation Act to allow a director of a central cooperative bank to serve on the board of a state cooperative bank. Normally, sir, in bank, when you appoint directors, they can hold the position of a director only in one institution and not in more. However, the cooperative bank structure, unless a person is elected to one layer of the cooperative, they can't get into the next layer, and as a result, they will necessarily have to hold position in more than one place. So we're making the Banking Regulation Act consistent with that provision so that they are in alignment with the cooperatives that are in banking area. Obviously, I would like to mention for clarification's sake through you, sir, to the Honorable House, that when we are touching matters related to cooperative acts, I think that's very important for me to clarify right at the beginning, that it is only the banking aspects of cooperatives, those cooperatives which are functioning as bank as well, only in their banking activity are these amendments going to come into play once the House passes it. The other activities of the cooperatives like primary agriculture society, cooperative society and so on, we have nothing at all to do with these amendments. They are cooperative activities, but we are looking at the banking activities. So amendment to subsection C3 of the 16th, section 16 is for allowing a director in the Central Cooperative Bank to serve on the board of a state cooperative bank as well. Sir, the State Bank of India Act has 2 amendments. Of that, one of which I like to highlight here as an opening remark is amendment to section 41 of the State Bank of India Act 1955 and the section 10 of the Banking Companies Acquisition and Transfer Undertakings 1980 Act will provide public sector banks with the discretion in determining the remuneration of auditors. This measure aims to improve the quality of audits by giving banks the opportunity to attract the best talent in the market and aligning compensation with the financial capacity of the banks. So these are the proposed amendments. I've highlighted some of them. There are 19 of them. They pertain to at least 5 of the major acts, which are inclusive of Reserve Bank of India Act, Banking Regulation Act 49, State Bank of India Act 55, Banking Companies Act 1970, Banking Companies Act 78. So with these opening remarks, I submit to you, sir, that these proposed amendments will only strengthen governance in Indian banking sector, besides enhancing consumers and customer convenience with respect to nominations and protection of investors. So with that, sir, I would appeal to you that the discussion can be taken up.
गोगोई जी, आप वरिष्ठ सदस्य हैं। जब कोई दूसरा विषय शुरू हो चुका है, बिल जब शुरू हो चुका है, तो बीच में पॉइंट ऑफ ऑर्डर नहीं होता। दूसरा कॉल एंड शब्दर कन्वेंशन है, संसद रूल्स रेगुलेशन से चलती है।
आप भी तो कन्वेंशन देखते हैं
और ये परंपराएं होती है, वो मानते हैं।
1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. 1 minute, sir. This I agree with you, sir.
All शब्दर मैंने कहा
this is not the issue.
परंपराएं और परंपराएं अध्यक्ष पर निर्भर करती है। परंपराएं अच्छी है, उनको हम लागू भी करते हैं।
Sir, Parliament is running through conventions and procedure also.
Yes.
As per the convention and procedure, leader of opposition has a great role in parliamentary procedure. Prime Minister has a role, like leader of opposition also has a great role. Now, I am quoting.
All right, viewers, bringing you a breaking news update now after his statement in Lok Sabha just a few minutes ago on the India-China relations. The External Affairs Minister will address the Rajya Sabha tomorrow on the issue at 2 p.m. The External Affairs Minister addressing the Lok Sabha said that India-China ties have seen some improvements, and in Ladakh the disengagement process has been completed. Jaishankar made a big statement on India-China thaw. He will also be addressing the Rajya Sabha tomorrow at 2 p.m. The External Affairs Minister also said that India is committed to protecting the integrity at the line of actual control. Also says LAC must be respected and status quo must not be broken. Let's go across to Riyanka now, who's outside the parliament. Riyanka, a big statement has been made by External Affairs Minister Jaishankar on the thawing of ties between India and China. He says that along the LAC in Ladakh, the disengagement has been completed. We'll also be addressing the Rajya Sabha tomorrow. What more are you picking up?
Absolutely. Just a while ago, we heard External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar, who was addressing the House of the Lok Sabha regarding the India-China border tensions. He has very clearly made it clear the fact that the disengagement process has been completed and the status quo must be maintained. On the other hand, he will be addressing the Rajya Sabha as well tomorrow, and also there he will be making statements regarding what is the update for say around the India-China border, one similar that he has done in the Lok Sabha. On the other hand, External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar has also mentioned the fact that the relations between India and China are on the way of improvement. So yes, we are going to expect more such important details when he addresses the Rajya Sabha tomorrow regarding the same issue.
All right. Well, thanks, Shankar, for joining us, sharing those updates with us. Viewers, big statement has been made by the External Affairs Minister, who was speaking on the thawing of ties between India and China. He says that disengagement in Ladakh has been completed. Also says that integrity along the line of actual control must be maintained. In fact, I want to come back to you on this, Riyanka. What does this mean going forward for India and China? All right, have lost that line with Riyanka, but viewers, those of you who missed the External Affairs Minister's address in Lok Sabha today, he will also be addressing the Rajya Sabha tomorrow at 2 p.m. In fact, going across to a breaking news coming in over the Sambhal clashes. We're now learning that Rahul Gandhi will be visiting the clash-hit Sambhal tomorrow. Lok Sabha Leader of Opposition Rahul Gandhi, 5 Congress MPs from UP will be going to violence-hit Sambhal. This, let's remind you, is coming in as there is a bar on political leaders from entering the clash-hit Sambhal area. 5 Congress MPs from UP will be going to Sambhal tomorrow. Ajay Dubey is joining us live to give us more details. Ajay, how is this decision of Rahul Gandhi coming when there is an embargo on the visit of political leaders in clash-hit Sambhal?
Definitely, politics on Sambhal is still going on. Earlier, first Samajwadi Party tried to send their delegation. Mata Prasad Pandey tried to go to Sambhal. Then
requested to
Ajay, he tried to go to Sambhal, and now
statement
Rahul
from the police. Let's listen in. All right, we've lost that statement as of now. We will be playing that out for our viewers once again. Ajay, please continue.
Definitely, now Rahul Gandhi is planning to go to Sambhal, and with Rahul, we'll be watching 5 MPs going to Sambhal. The leaders from Congress in Uttar Pradesh, including Ajay Rai and Avinash Pandey, they are also planning to go to Sambhal. This idea we are getting from Ajay Rai also. And the problem is that right now, the priority of administration is to make peace in Sambhal. That's the reason they have implemented new laws in Sambhal that no political person or anyone else can come to Sambhal during this peace time. And now we have seen Mata Prasad Pandey tried to go to Sambhal, and then there was a discussion between him and DGP and various police officers. Then he decided that he will go later. Then Ajay Rai, he had discussion yesterday. We have seen hustle over in front of Congress office, and now Rahul Gandhi is planning to go to Sambhal, and police is on alert.
All right. Thank you, Ajay, for joining us and giving us those details. Viewers, when there are already clashes and unrest in Sambhal over the survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid, Rahul Gandhi and his MPs are planning to visit Sambhal tomorrow. With that, let's shift our focus. UP Congress leaders are in fact in Sambhal already, despite the no entry in Sambhal protocol. Congress leaders in Sambhal. Question arises if this is an attempt to flare up the situation, which is already sensitive in Sambhal. There has been a ban on the entry of political leaders for 10 days until December 10 in Sambhal. Amidst that, Congress workers seen breaching protocol arriving in Sambhal. This even as the Lok Sabha leader of opposition and Congress MP Rahul Gandhi himself will be visiting the area along with his MPs tomorrow. Visuals of the Congress leaders there in Sambhal on your screens, viewers. And we're also showing you visuals of the clashes that broke out in Sambhal when a team went to conduct a survey of the Shahi Jama Masjid there. Heavy stone pelting was witnessed. A Samajwadi Party MP has been accused in the FIR along with an MLA's son. Amidst that, Congress workers now breaching protocol set by the UP government and visiting Sambhal. And in fact, cutting across to another breaking news update, this in connection to the TRP Mall fire case. What we're learning is that one of the accused, Mansukh Sanghatia, was trying to meet with the victim's family. In fact, at the hearing, CCTV footage showed that the accused aggressively spoke to the family of the victims, and that was caught on camera. Accused was allegedly trying to pressurize the family of the victims. It is now being alleged that security personnel of the Rajkot police had made that meeting possible. This is in connection to the TRP Mall fire case in Ahmedabad. Now, today an inquiry was directed to be carried out by the commissioner in the same case, and suspension has also been ordered for the PSI and the constables. Allegations have been leveled about pressurizing the family members of the victims who lost their lives in the mall fire. Republic has accessed the CCTV of that alleged meeting and sending a phone over the commissioner. Let's go across to Priyanka, who's reporting live on the story. Priyanka, please share more details with us.
Well, that's right, Kirti. What you just spoke about, these visuals, in fact, that we are putting out on our screens are that of the footage that has been accessed by us, which is right outside of the trial court there in Rajkot, where, in fact, the hearing for the Rajkot TRP Mall fire case is being carried out, where we had seen earlier this year there was a massive fire that had taken place in the TRP gaming zone in Rajkot, because of which several children, in fact, had lost their lives. In fact, it was later also found out that none of the fire NOCs and the fire guidelines had also been followed by the TRP Mall, where, in fact, these gaming zones, in fact, had been going on. This was a huge accident, in fact, that had taken place, which had also opened the Pandora's box when it comes to the negligence and the entire systematic negligence when it comes to the fire emergency equipment to be in place as well. And we have seen that in the hearing as well, that the last hearing, the authorities, in fact, had also submitted a charge sheet and a 5,000-page charge sheet, which had also directed and denoted all of the negligent aspects and the points that had been completely looked over in the infrastructure and building of the TRP Mall as well. And hence, we were looking at these kind of updates. Now, of course, speaking about this particular incident, we are looking at the footage of the accused and the family members of the victims of the TRP Mall fire, in fact, who had lost their children in this entire accident. Now, we're also hearing that there was a PI and an ASI as well who had made it possible for these two to meet. We also have footage of both of them meeting outside of the court in the parking lot as well. In fact, if we put that out, we will have an idea as to how these meetings had taken place. Now we are also learning that these meetings had been made possible by the PI and the security personnel who had been there at the court as well. And now we're learning that both of them, in fact, have been suspended. And there is a proper investigation that will also take place, which had been also instructed by the Commissioner of Police there in Rajkot, who is looking into this. And they have said that all allegations of whether there was some kind of pressurizing tactics that were being used by the TRP Mall builders as well on the victim's family is something that they will in fact be looking into.
Right, thank you, Priyanka, for sharing that big scoop on the Ahmedabad TRP Mall fire case. With that, viewers, we will now move on. It's time for a very quick break on this bulletin. But stay tuned as the logjam in Parliament persists. Even after the big statement by External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar and Nirmala Sitharaman on the banking reforms, opposition says they're not allowed to speak. Stay tuned to Republic.
QSMTHE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
Welcome back, viewers. Now let's tell you, as the protests intensified and more British lawmakers spoke out against the atrocities on the minority Hindus in Bangladesh, the hearing on the bail plea of arrested Hindu seer Chinmoy Krishnadas Prabhu was deferred today. This after none of the lawyers representing him showed up for the hearing. The development followed reports that various cases were filed against lawyers who were to argue for him and his bail in the court. There were also reports of them receiving threats and their chambers being vandalized. Take a look.
As the global sound and fury intensified over the arrest of prominent ISKCON seer Chinmoy Das Prabhu in Bangladesh, the hearing on his bail plea was deferred. This after none of the lawyers representing the arrested Hindu seer showed up for the hearing today. The no-show by his lawyers at the hearing followed reports of multiple cases being filed against him. Reports also claimed that the chambers of lawyers who were to argue for the seer's bail today were vandalized. Top ISKCON seer Radha Raman Das posted an image of Raman Roy, an advocate representing Chinmoy Prabhu, lying injured in a hospital. Das said the senior lawyer was brutally assaulted and his house ransacked by radicals for standing up for the arrested seer. Meanwhile, two more lawmakers raised the plight of the minority Hindus in Bangladesh on the floor of the British Parliament. British Conservative MP Priti Patel called for robust action to secure Hindu lives and property in Bangladesh.
We need to know effectively what is being done to secure his release, due process in particular, but at the same time, can the Minister give details of the government's engagement with the government on this particular matter? What discussions have taken place, and have we been robust in pursuing the right to protect life, the prevention of violence and persecution, and importantly, tolerance for religious belief?
Ruling Labour MP Barry Gardiner also flagged concern over the violence being perpetrated against the Hindus in Bangladesh.
Bangladesh has seen more than 2,000 incidents of violence, most of which have been targeted against the minority Hindu community. Hindus make up less than 10% of the Bangladesh population, and my honourable friend will be aware that anti-Hindu violence has been a recurrent event in the country, and indeed the Jamaat-e-Islami party was earlier this year banned after riots in which 200 people were killed.
Outspoken Conservative MP Bob Blackman articulated similar concerns earlier.
In Bangladesh, their spiritual leader is under arrest. Hindus across Bangladesh are being subject literally to death by their houses being burnt, their temples are being burnt, and there was an attempt today in the Bangladesh High Court to rule that ISKCON should be banned from the country. This is a direct attack on Hindus.
You want justice! I want justice! You want...
In another development, protesters gathered outside the White House in Washington, D.C., calling for the seer's immediate and unconditional release.
You want justice! You want justice!
Meanwhile, All Tripura Hotel and Restaurant Owners Association said all hotels and eateries affiliated to it have been asked not to serve Bangladeshi citizens because of the insult to the tricolour in the neighbouring country. In another related development, ISKCON Kolkata issued an advisory urging followers of the Global Philanthropic Order to avoid saffron wear and tilak amid targeted attacks. As the global chorus to free the arrested Hindu seer grows, the UN continues to look away.
And time for a quick break as we wrap up this bulletin. Stay tuned, viewers. After addressing the Lok Sabha today, External Affairs Minister Jaishankar will be addressing the Rajya Sabha tomorrow on India-China ties. Stay tuned.
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
External Affairs Minister will be addressing the Rajya Sabha tomorrow on the India-China ties at 2 p.m. Stay tuned to Republic as we continue to bring you more details.
Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
Live and breaking at 3 p.m. I am Tanisha Avasthi. Our top story. Okay, we're getting in some breaking news coming in where we're getting in visuals of Eknath Shinde that is coming in from Thane. He's just left the Jupiter Hospital. Remember, he was rushed to the Jupiter Hospital in Thane where the doctors had advised him to undergo a medical examination. There were reports of the caretaker Maharashtra Chief Minister being unwell, after which he was rushed to a hospital in Thane. These are visuals of Eknath Shinde coming out of the hospital. Remember, when he had just left to the hospital, for the hospital, he had said that all is well. However, there were reports which claimed that the doctors have advised him to undergo medical test, keeping in mind his health that has been deteriorating according to reports. For the last few days, he was at his hometown in Satara. He had come back yesterday and today at a time when he was all slated to hold the Mahayuti meeting in Maharashtra, and this comes ahead of the oath-taking ceremony in Mumbai. We learnt that Eknath Shinde was rushed to the hospital. These are visuals from Thane of the same hospital where he is seen coming out of the hospital. Doctors had advised him to undergo certain medical examinations. We also learned that all the Mahayuti meetings that were slated for today, which was going to be chaired by Eknath Shinde, has been cancelled. Sandeep, my colleague, joins me live from Mumbai. Sandeep, please share more details. What is the update on Eknath Shinde's health?
election. Remember, since the elections result had come, he had in fact not taking rest, and before that as well, he was busy in election campaigning, and due to which his health got deteriorated. And for the same reason, it seems that he also took a break. In fact, he went into Satara at his village, Dare village, and took rest for 2 days. But despite that, he is still not keeping well. And in fact, today he was rushed to Jupiter Hospital, where he is undergoing some medical examination. We've been told that his blood test is being done by the Jupiter Hospital. We have also been informed that the white blood corpuscles have also reduced in the numbers, and for the same reason, in fact, he is feeling very low. His blood pressure is low, and also we are getting to know that he is fully saturated, he is fully exhausted, and hence he needs rest. And for the same reason, he's been in fact taken to Jupiter Hospital. We are hearing that Eknath Shinde would in fact address media, or maybe the doctors may speak to media in a short while from now.
Right. Sandeep also talked to us about the Mahayuti meeting that was going to be held today. However, we learned that it has been cancelled, keeping in mind Eknath Shinde's health. When is the next date for the Mahayuti meeting? Because remember, what we do know is it's been 10 days now since the poll results had come out. The official name for the Maharashtra Chief Minister has not been assigned yet. BJP there had informed that the oath-taking ceremony will take place on 5th, that is just 2 days from now. However, the official announcement of the chief ministerial face hasn't been done yet. What is the update on that front?
See, as far as the oath-taking ceremony is concerned, it will not be changed because the Prime Minister had already given time for 5th of December, and definitely Eknath Shinde will be in fact willing to attend that very function, because that would be a very historical function, as they have gotten historical numbers. So definitely he will be in the position to attend that very program. For the same reason, in fact, remember, as far as the meetings are concerned, the meetings were supposed to take place for the cabinet berth sharing. So ultimately what can happen, what would be the possibility is that in such a scenario, if Eknath Shinde is not doing well, and if he is unable to take on any kind of meetings, in such a scenario only CM and DCM, that is the Deputy CM, would be in fact taking oath, and rest of the cabinet ministry or rest of the berths would be in fact shared later once the oath ceremony in which the CM and Deputy CM may take oath, and apart from that, the rest of the ministry would be distributed later, and later on rest of the ministers can take oath under the presence of the governor.
Right. Sandeep also talked to us about the reports, the medical reports, if any, that has come out in the public forum of Eknath Shinde, because what we do learn is that Shinde had gone to his hometown just few days back. He was in Satara for quite some days. You also had a conversation with him where he has said that everything is well and that he is heading to Mumbai. And now when he's stepped in Mumbai, we learn that he had been rushed to the hospital just few minutes back in Thane. The doctor had advised him to undergo medical examinations. What are the medical reports saying about Eknath Shinde's health?
See, since Eknath Shinde returned from the meeting in Delhi with Amit Shah, he was not keeping well. In fact, we can call it that the weather of Delhi did not suit to Eknath Shinde, and after that his health got deteriorated. In fact, he was staying in Thane. Later he moved to Varsha, and then he ultimately decided to spend time in his native village. But there also he indeed took rest, but there also the health situation did not got better, and for the same reason he came to Mumbai yesterday. And in fact, now what we are hearing is that he had gone through some medical test at the Jupiter Hospital. We have been told that the white blood cells in the in Eknath Shinde they have reduced and they have fallen down, and for the same reason he's feeling a bit low. He has also got throat infection, and he has also congestion in nose as well. In fact, he's having issue while breathing also. So these are several points that are in fact troubling Eknath Shinde, and in fact for the same reason he's been taken to Jupiter Hospital. It will be crucial to understand whether he will be admitted or not, or whether he will carry on his political meetings after this very attendance at Jupiter Hospital.
Right. Sandeep, stay with us because I'm also being joined by Satya Prakash, who is right outside Jupiter Hospital in Thane, where Eknath Shinde was admitted. I believe he's now left for his home. Satya Prakash, you were there outside the Jupiter Hospital. There were certain media reactions that Eknath Shinde did give. What are you picking up? What did Eknath Shinde say once he stepped out of the hospital? What is the reaction that he gave?
देखिए, जुपिटर हॉस्पिटल से एकनाथ शिंदे यहाँ से निकल चुके हैं, वर्षा के लिए निकले हैं और यहाँ से जो डॉक्टरों की टीम थी उनकी देखरेख में अभी भी रहेंगे एकनाथ शिंदे। लेकिन डॉक्टरों का कहना है कि वो अभी काम कर सकते हैं, लोगों से मिल सकते हैं, मीटिंग अटेंड कर सकते हैं। फिलहाल जुपिटर हॉस्पिटल से निकल चुके हैं एकनाथ शिंदे, थोड़ी देर पहले निकले हैं और वर्षा के लिए निकले हैं। लगातार जो शिवसेना के नेता हैं यहाँ पहुँच रहे थे और शिवसेना के नेता भी साथ में निकले हुए हैं और जो बताया जा रहा है कि देर शाम तक महायुति की मीटिंग हो सकती है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे थे, थाने में थे 2 दिनों से लगातार वो यहाँ पे थे और वर्षा पहुँचेंगे और वर्षा के बाद हो सकता है कि महायुति की मीटिंग हो। फिलहाल डॉक्टरों ने उनको कहा है कि थोड़ा अलर्ट रहें और जिस तरह से उनकी हेल्थ है उसको देखते हुए उनको सतर्क रहने कहा है, लेकिन वो काम कर सकते हैं, डॉक्टरों का कहना है। जी।
Right. I'm also being joined by Komal, who's reporting for our sister channel Republic Bharat. Komal, tell us about your location at this point of time. I believe you are outside Eknath Shinde's residence. He will be arriving at Varsha Bungalow in just some moments from now. How is the security arrangement there? What is the talk about? What is actually wrong with Eknath Shinde?
बिल्कुल आपको तस्वीरें वर्षा बंगलो से दिखा रहे हैं, जहां पे जानकारी मिल रही है कि थोड़ी ही देर में एकनाथ शिंदे यहां पे पहुंच सकते हैं, क्योंकि देखिए जुपिटर अस्पताल से वो निकल गए हैं। सिक्योरिटी की बात करें तो आपको साफ तौर पर देखिए उनके घर के बाहर सिक्योरिटी भी दिखा देंगे। सिक्योरिटी को पूरी तरह से यहाँ पे अलर्ट कर दिया गया है, क्योंकि जुपिटर हॉस्पिटल से वो निकल गए हैं, वर्षा पहुंचने वाले और यहाँ पे कह रहे हैं कि एक महायुति की बहुत बड़ी बैठक जो है वो शाम तक हो सकती है। ऐसे में देखिए कई दिनों से ये कयास लगाए जा रहे थे कि महायुति की बैठक हो सकती है, अभी तक वो बैठक नहीं हुई थी, लेकिन आज वो बैठक प्रस्तावित है और ऐसे में ये तस्वीरें आपको वर्षा बंगलो से दिखा रहे हैं। एकनाथ शिंदे यहाँ पे पहुंच सकते हैं और इस बैठक में देखिए एकनाथ शिंदे ग्रुप की बात करें या अजीत पवार गुट की बात करें या बीजेपी के गुट की बात करें, तमाम नेता जो है वो यहाँ पे पहुंचेंगे और कहीं ना कहीं पोर्टफोलियो को लेकर के भी बातचीत हो सकती है, क्योंकि अभी तक जो पेच फंसा है वो पोर्टफोलियो को लेकर के फंसा है। इतने दिन से देखिए जीत के इतने दिन बाद भी अभी तक सीएम चेहरे को लेकर के मुहर नहीं लग पाई है। हालांकि प्रबल दावेदारी जो है वो देवेंद्र फडणवीस की बताई जा रही है। इसके साथ ही साथ आप बात करें तो देखिए पोर्टफोलियो को लेकर के लगातार देखने को मिल रहा है, जो सूत्र भी जानकारी दे रहे थे कि कहीं ना कहीं एक पेज जो है वहां फंसा हुआ है। हालांकि देखिए जब एकनाथ शिंदे अपने पैतृक गांव सतारा गए थे उस दौरान भी कहीं ना कहीं ये कयास लगाए जा रहे थे कि पेज फंसा हुआ है, होम मिनिस्ट्री पोर्टफोलियो को लेकर भी कहीं ना कहीं नाराजगी है, लेकिन जिसके बाद एकनाथ शिंदे ने साफ कर दिया था कि ऐसी कोई नाराजगी नहीं है, वो थोड़ा रेस्ट करने आए हैं। जिसके बाद आज जुपिटर हॉस्पिटल गए थे, डॉक्टर्स ने साफ तौर पर उन्हें कहा है कि थोड़ा सा एहतियात बरतें, क्योंकि मौसम लगातार बदल रहा है और पिछले कई दिनों से चुनाव के कार्यक्रम में काफी ज्यादा व्यस्त थे, इसीलिए डॉक्टर्स ने भी उन्हें एहतियात करने को बोला। लेकिन अभी वर्षा बंगलो में वो आ सकते हैं, जहां पे एक बहुत बड़ी बैठक देखने को मिल सकती है। ओवर टू यू।
जी कोमल, धन्यवाद आपका सारी जानकारी शेयर करने के लिए। संदीप, कमिंग टू यू, all of this happens at a time when the government formation is walking on a tightrope. Nothing has been given out in the open, in the public forum yet, be it the chief ministerial face of Maharashtra or be it the portfolio allocation for that matter. Do you believe that if the official announcement is not made yet, the announcement that the BJP has made that the oath-taking ceremony will be held on 5th is likely to be delayed?
See, as far as the oath-taking ceremony is concerned, there is no possibility, neither there is any kind of chances that that would be in fact delayed. As now Eknath Shinde has already left from Jupiter Hospital for Varsha Bungalow, things seems to be very much clear that the oath ceremony cannot be delayed. Yes, but as far as the cabinet berths are concerned, there were already talks that were going on in Delhi, also in Maharashtra as well. So it seems that there could be a conclusive discussion that may take place by today or maybe tomorrow evening, and the final numbers would be out day after tomorrow, when the oath ceremony will be taking place, and the number of cabinet berths that would be in fact decided, that would be displayed on the day when the people would be taking oath on the oath ceremony day.
Right. With that, I would like to thank Sandeep, Satyaprakash and Komal for sharing us all those details. We'll keep coming back to you on the top story. But for now, we will cut across and shift our focus to Lok Sabha, where I believe BJP MP Sambit Patra is currently addressing the lower house.
Person can nominate 4 nominees in succession or simultaneously. हमारे बैंक में लॉकर्स होते हैं, बैंक से हम लॉकर लेते हैं, आर्टिकल रखते हैं, नॉमिनी का प्रोविजन मुझे आश्चर्य लग रहा है, अभी तक बैंक लॉकर नॉमिनी प्रोविजन नहीं था। मैं धन्यवाद देना चाहूंगा नरेंद्र मोदी जी का कि इस प्रकार से सक्सेशन के साथ 1 2 3 4 1 2 3 4 इन सक्सेशन इसके बाद ये आप सक्सेशन के साथ नॉमिनीज के नाम को अपॉइंट कर सकते हैं। आज आपने अभी रूल नंबर 94 के विषय में कहा, द एम्बिट शुड बी विद इन द बैंकिंग laws. The ambit should be within the rules framed for the reforms of the banking sector. I want to remain within this ambit, within this framework, and want to bring out some very important and pertinent points, sir. Sir, the banking crisis was one of the biggest legacies that we got from, thanks to them, we got from them in 2014. Let me give you a data. Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji led NDA government, when they took the office, the gross NPA, GNPA ratio in public sector banks was 16%, and when Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji left the office of Prime Minister, he brought it down to 7.8%. Thanks Atal ji, thank you very much. In September 2013, when they were in governance concluding side, this ratio went up to 12.3%. Atalji had given them 7.8%. It went up thanks to the phone banking system. Dada, ठीक আছে तो English टा? Phone banking system. Phone banking system. You are trying to improvise upon me, so I thought I'll take your permission and I'll seek your permission. Phone banking system of the Congress party, where the 2 P's, you need not be a performer, but you need to be a powerful man with powerful connections in the system. फोन उठा करके इनके नेता बोलते थे, लोन दे दो, लोन वापस आएगा कि नहीं देखना नहीं है। ये इसी फोन बैंकिंग सिस्टम का नतीजा रहा कि हम एनपीए में गले तक डूब गए थे। थैंक यू नरेंद्र मोदी जी, आपने इंसॉल्वेंसी बैंकिंग कोड लाके आज सिस्टम को सुधारने का काम किया है। आज हम आगे बढ़े। आज मैं हाउस से एक निवेदन करूंगा, मैं पहली बार का सांसद हूं, सब ज्ञानी गुणी लोग बैठे। नहीं, आप भी ज्ञानी है सर, मैं आपके ऊपर कोई आक्षेप नहीं लगा रहा हूं, आप ज्ञानी गुणी लोग बैठे हैं। मैं आपसे एक निवेदन कर रहा हूं कि आज आप नगर वाला केस जरूर पढ़ें। नागा, हम पार्लियामेंट में खड़े हैं सर। I want to bring to your notice a famous case of 1971. May 24, 1971, there was a...
Well, that was BJP MP Sambit Patra attacking the Congress over the banking crisis, saying that the crisis that happened a few years back was a gift of the Congress to India, and that the country is thankful to the Prime Minister for getting India out of the banking crisis. That's the latest attack that is coming in from the BJP against the Congress. Meanwhile, we shift our focus to other breaking news that's coming in from Maharashtra yet again, where we learn that in a controversial move, the Maha Vikas Aghadi conducted an unofficial ballot paper repolling in a Solapur village, bypassing the Election Commission's established process and undermining the secret ballot system. The NCP-SP candidate had won the 2024 assembly polls, but the MVA leaders argued that the losing BJP candidate received more votes than expected. In response, MVA held a crowd-funded repolling with self-certified ballot papers, disregarding electoral discipline and the role of the Election Commission. So that's the latest breaking news that's coming in. Mahavikas Aghadi, remember, frustrated after losing the elections of Maharashtra. First, they blamed the EVMs. Now they conducted an unofficial ballot paper repolling in a Solapur village, bypassing the Election Commission's established process and undermining the secret ballot system. Now, what the Mahavikas Aghadi has alleged, the NCP-SP candidate basically had won 24 assembly polls, but the Mahavikas Aghadi leaders argued that the losing BJP candidate received more votes than expected without a proof. Now, in response, the Mahavikas Aghadi held a crowd with self-certified ballot papers, disregarding the electoral discipline and the role of the Election Commission. So that's the latest breaking news that's coming in from the state of Maharashtra, where after EVMs, it is the Congress which is now denigrating the Election Commission and their guidelines. We also have Kruthat joining us live from the newsroom. Kruthat, first they blame the EVMs, then they conduct an unofficial repolling with the ballot paper, and all of this is against the Election Commission rules. What are the legal ramifications in the case?
Well, Tanisha, as far as the information that we have received is concerned, it was an attempted repolling through ballot paper that was attempted in this Malshiras village of Solapur district.
बैंकिंग सिस्टम के लिए कह रहा हूं, our banking system was on ventilator. हमारा बैंकिंग सिस्टम वेंटिलेटर पे था. It took a Modi ji to come, rescue, recover and resuscitate. RRR. तेलुगु में अभी एक बहुत बड़ी मूवी है RRR. Rescue, resuscitate and recover the banking system of India. Sabhapati Mahoday, that the elevated external vulnerability that the Indian banks were under, the UPA government is whooping. The India's external vulnerability shot up because of over-dependence on external commercial borrowings, what we call as ECBs. The borrowing crisis, which was one of the most infamous crises of UPA government during 2004 and 2014. When the Atal Bihari, I'm astonished that they don't want to listen to this, but I believe there are certain issues which I would surely be highlighting over here. I would like to bring the attention to the fact that the Modi government turned around the banking system, the banking sector, and over 10 lakh crore rupees bad loans have been recovered in 10 years.
Sambhal, 1 second, please. Under rule. Mention the rule. Kindly be seated. Kindly be seated. Kindly be seated. I will listen to you. Sir, I will listen to you if you are seated. Kindly be seated. I will listen to your leader. Please be seated. Please be seated. Please be seated. I will listen to you. Please be seated. I will listen to you. Please be seated. Please be seated. I will listen to you. Please be seated. Who is standing? Please be seated. Please be seated, sir. Please be seated. No, please allow the house to function. You cannot stand as you wish. Please see that. Please be seated. I'm requesting you. Why don't you listen to my request? Please be seated. No, it cannot go on like this. Please be seated. Please. I'm requesting everybody. No, sir. Please look behind. No, sir. There are 10. Okay, sir. Okay. Mr. Raja, would you like to speak?
Come on, rule. Mention the rule.
You mentioned the rule. Okay,
yes.
Rule number.
Sir, 94.
same 94. Same 94. Read.
90 or 94?
94.
94, okay.
Nishikant referred. Nishikant, same 94.
What? Minister?
Why you are laughing?
Minister?
Don't be a laughing stock. Don't be a laughing stock. Laughing stock. Why you are laughing?
Mr. Raja, kindly
Why you
address
are
the chair.
laughing?
Sir, 1 second, please.
Justice
Please,
must
1
say.
second, please. Please address the chair.
Honorable member Nishikant submitted before this house 94. Goga is exceeding the limit beyond the 94. Now the honorable member is saying in 1971, Indira Gandhi picked up the phone and the loan was granted by State Bank. Is it within the bill? Yeah. Are you having any substantial evidence? Where is the evidence? Indira Gandhi is not in his house. Indira Gandhi is not in the house. Beyond the meets and bounds of the bill, you are referring to Indira Gandhi name without any reason and baseless allegations. But chair is permitting. What does it mean? Yes. What does it mean? Give me the ruling.
I heard you. Mr. Sambit Patra, I heard you. 1 second, please. You have anything to say in defense, I will listen, otherwise then I'll take a decision. Please. Yeah. 1 second, please.
Sir, I quote from, please the honorable members, sir, to you, sir, I draw my powers from what you laid in the rule number 94. We have to be within the ambits of the bill that is being discussed, the amendment that is being discussed. Here we are discussing the Indian banking sector and the amendment therein. So of course, the Nagarwala case is one of the foundations on which reforms of the banking sector are based. It is recorded, it is noted. It is a foundation on which the reforms of banking sector are based. And by the way, I would like to remind sir, honorable member, Indira Gandhi did not pick up the phone. Mr. Malhotra picked up the phone. He was the manager. Indira Gandhi, assumedly, Indira Gandhi ji was a caller. So you have got the whole thing wrong.
Maanनीय मंत्री जी, किरण रिजिजू जी.
Raja ji.
1 second, please be seated. Please
first
be
of
seated.
all,
I'll give you a chance.
First of all, sir, while sitting here, I heard
Sir, speaker, sir.
some of the members from opposition bench said, Chairman, hi. You raised slogans against the chair. I take serious objection to that. चेयर के खिलाफ आप इस तरह से टिप्पणी नहीं कर सकते हैं. You can raise rules. अरे एक मिनट सुन लीजिए. आप रूल के तहत बात रख सकते हैं, लेकिन चेयर के खिलाफ हाय नाराज आपने जो नारा लगाया, नाराज हो सकते हैं, आप नारा नहीं लगा सकते चेयर के खिलाफ. नंबर 1. नंबर 2, ये कोई तरीका है? ये कोई तरीका है? ये बात करने का तरीका है? ये कोई बात करने का तरीका है? आपका नेता, ये यहाँ कांग्रेस पार्टी का लीडर भी है, डिप्टी लीडर भी है. अगर ऐसा ही कोई भी उठ करके खड़ा करेगा, ऐसे मर्जी से बोलेगा, सदन ऐसे नहीं चलता है. आपको ऑथराइज किया है तो आप उठिए, मगर यह व्यवस्था का बात उठाया. राजा ने रूल को कोट करते हुए कहा, मैं इसीलिए बता रहा हूं, सबसे पहले चेयर के खिलाफ जो नारा लगाया, चेयरमैन हाय, ये बहुत गलत है और इसको जरूरत पड़े तो माफी मांगना चाहिए. दूसरा, निशिकांत दुबे ने जो बात, हमारे संबित पात्रा ने जो बात रखा है, उन्होंने एक एग्जिस्टिंग केस को बताया है. कहानी उन्होंने मनगढ़ंत कहानी नहीं बनाया, एक एग्जिस्टिंग केस को उसने रेफर किया है. वो केस उन्होंने कोई यहाँ डिस्कवरी नहीं किया है, इसलिए वो केस रिकॉर्ड में है. वो हम डिस्कवरी करके नया केस तो निकला नहीं है. इसलिए मैं चाहता हूँ कि इसके लिए
QS and THE, the world's foremost university rankings organizations, have ranked Amity amongst the top 3% universities globally, making it among the very few Indian universities to be included in both rankings. Yet another top ranking for Amity University.
94 and then said, confine yourselves to the bill. I'm here wanting to hear and then wanting to reply. And you've taken a very considered call, sir. I respect your view that you would remove the name of former Chief Prime Minister. Equally, I think quoting Atal Bihari Vajpayee ji in the context of he said she was Durga. We all respect Mrs. Indira Gandhi for her achievements. Of course, we equally remember her for emergency. But I think it is important. Vajpayee ji's name being quoted as though he said Mrs. Indira Gandhi is Durga is contentious. There's no proof. There are enough people who said he has not said that. Therefore, even that statement that Vajpayee ji said this should be equally removed. And you have taken a considered call, sir. Why? Mrs. Indira Gandhi is not respected? I said Mrs. Indira Gandhi is respected. Do you have an objection? I said Mrs. Indira Gandhi is respected. Do you have an objection on that? What is this, sir? What is this? Sir, equally. Therefore, I appeal to you, sir. You said that will be removed from Sambit Patra's statement. I appeal to you that under 94, if people have spoken beyond 94, and I take the Honorable Member Gogoi's name here, most of his speech was beyond 94. Would you consider please removing that also from the record? Is very, very clued into what I'm saying. And therefore he's saying, I'm challenging you. No, I'm appealing to you to remove Gogoi's complete statement, which was beyond this bill. And equally, the member who said, Chairman, hi, remove that as well, sir. That's my request to you.
प्लीज वित्त मंत्री जी ने एक मिनट प्लीज वित्त मंत्री जी ने जो सवाल उठाए हैं, एक मिनट प्लीज बैठिए, प्लीज बैठिए दादा, प्लीज वित्त मंत्री जी ने सवाल जो उठाए हैं कि माननीय अटल जी ने क्या बोला है, मुझे लगता है कि वो रिकॉर्ड में नहीं जाना चाहिए, क्योंकि उसकी रिकॉर्ड की सत्यता होने के बाद ही जाना चाहिए उस विषय को, क्योंकि वो भी पुरानी घटना थी। नंबर 2, मेरी ये अपेक्षा है माननीय सदस्यों से, सभी दल के सदस्यों से, हम सदन की गरिमा बनाते समय जो बिल है और जो बिल में संशोधन लाए गए हैं उसके परिप्रेक्ष्य के उसकी परिधि में बोले। हम यहाँ बिल पर अगर पॉलिटिकल आरोप प्रत्यारोप लगाने लगेंगे तो इससे सदन की गरिमा बढ़ेगी और जो विधेयक पे चर्चा होती है, आप अच्छे संशोधन दो, अच्छे विचार दो, बिल में कोई कमी हो और संशोधन करने हैं तो वो विचार दो, देना चाहिए, क्योंकि जितनी विधेयक पर डिटेल चर्चा होगी, सार गर्भित चर्चा होगी, तो निश्चित रूप से सरकार के विषय ध्यान में आएगा। रूल्स बनाते समय भी और आवश्यकता हुआ तो बिल में जो विधेयक लाए गए उनके खंडों पे भी विचार करते हैं। यही सदन की गरिमा रही है, तो मैं सोचता हूं कि इस गरिमा को आप बनाए रखें। सदन में विधेयक पर, एक मिनट प्लीज, विधेयक पर चर्चा करते हुए हम पॉलिटिकल परिप्रेक्ष्य में नहीं जाए। जो विधेयक में संशोधन लाए गए हैं, जो विधेयक के कंटेंट्स हैं, उसके परिप्रेक्ष्य में बोल सकते हैं, लेकिन एक अच्छी परंपरा इस सदन की रही, उसको बनाए रखें, ये अपेक्षा आप सबसे। एक मिनट प्लीज, हो गया आपका? हाँ प्लीज कंक्लूड करें, आप भी कंक्लूड करें।
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय। मैं अपने कंक्लूजन में कुछ महत्वपूर्ण बिंदु बैंकिंग सेक्टर के ही और इस बिल के रिलेटेड रखना चाहूँ। दिस बिल बेसिकली इज़ अ रिफॉर्म बिल फॉर द बैंकिंग सेक्टर। किस प्रकार से हमारे बैंकिंग सेक्टर का रिफॉर्म है, अनवरत रिफॉर्म चल रहे हैं, उसी कड़ी में आगे रिफॉर्म कैसे होगा उसकी एक चेष्टा है। सभापति महोदय, हमारी सरकार के आने के पश्चात हमें जान के ये खुशी होगी 2014 से 2023 के बीच भारतीय बैंकिंग प्रणाली में लगभग 10 लाख करोड़ रुपए जो बैड बैंक लोन के कारण हम जिससे वंचित थे वो रिकवर किया गया है। 10 लाख करोड़ रुपए 2014 से 2023 के बीच में। ये बहुत सारे रिफॉर्म्स, जैसे आज का रिफॉर्म हो रहा है, उन्हीं रिफॉर्म्स के कारण संभव हुआ। आज यहाँ ईडी और सीबीआई की बात हुई, मैं उस पर नहीं जाना चाहूंगा, मगर दो डेटा है ईडी को लेकर, ये यहाँ जरूर बताना चाहूंगा बैंकिंग सेक्टर से। ईडी ने लगभग 1105 बैंक फ्रॉड को इन्वेस्टिगेट किया है और उसमें से जो कॉन्फिस्केट किया है, अटैच्ड किया है प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम, वह 64,920 करोड़ है। 64,920 करोड़ हैज बीन कॉन्फिस्केटेड फ्रॉम प्रोसीड्स ऑफ क्राइम। और सबसे बड़ी बात सभापति महोदय, दिसंबर 2023 तक ये जो कॉन्फिस्केटेड अमाउंट था उसमें से 15,100।
All right, viewers, so that was Sambit Patra of the BJP speaking in the parliament, and of course there is a massive showdown that is unfolding in the amidst the winter session in the parliament right now. Sambit Patra there speaking on the Lok Sabha and talking about how the NDA has rescued the Indian banks, and earlier we saw the finance minister Nirmala Sitharaman also speaking. Sambit Patra now speaking on the Ek Hai to Save Hai pitch, and of course there has been a massive showdown. Kiran Rijiju, the parliamentary affairs minister, also spoke a while back. All right, viewers, now we'll shift our focus to some other stories now. More visuals coming in from Bangladesh, how minorities, how the Hindus are being targeted, and the lawyer has been attacked. The lawyer of Chinmay Krishna Prabhu. We are learning that on the day of Chinmay Krishna Prabhu's first court appearance, his lawyer Regan Acharya faced a brutal attack as his chamber was vandalized following the hearing, and you can see his image there. He has been injured in his leg, on his head to toe. He has been bruised, beaten up. Barbaric treatment to the Bangladeshi lawyers. Kisholai, my colleague, joins the live from the Our Bangla newsroom. Kisholai, well, it's very clear why the counsel did not turn up today, and there was no hearing, and Chinmay Krishna Prabhu remains in jail, and those are the visuals that speak volumes about what's happening as far as targeting of Hindus in Bangladesh is concerned.
Well, exactly. We have seen multiple attacks on the lawyers. Now, it is a proven fact that any lawyer who tried to argue in favor of Chinmay Krishna Prabhu was attacked. Anyone, Hindus, Muslims, anyone who tried to defend Chinmay Krishna Prabhu was attacked. Now, this is one of the latest posts by Radharaman Das of ISKCON Kolkata. He is ISKCON Vice President and spokesperson. Now, he has tweeted, he has posted in the X handle how advocate lawyer Regan Acharya was attacked brutally. And he is right now with us over phone. This is Kishalay Radharaman Prabhu. Welcome to Republic TV. You have tweeted, you have posted this in X handle. A lawyer called Regan Acharya has been attacked and his chamber has been vandalized. Now, what would you talk about it? Because all the lawyers are being constantly attacked. Anyone who is trying to defend Chinmay Krishna Prabhu.
Because who will defend if they are being brutally attacked? This is the tweet which I have tweeted is about Mr. Regan Acharya. So you can see how brutally they have hit his head and his leg is also broken, and how they have ransacked his chamber. So the whole episode is very shocking, and the postponement of date for almost 1 month is also very unfortunate.
I want to ask another question, she can ask as well. But Rakshita, I'll ask here one question to Radharaman Prabhu. Radharaman Prabhu, we have seen several times ISKCON has been saying that our devotees are being attacked. One of the ISKCON monks, many of the ISKCON monks are in jail, and now the lawyers are being attacked. Radharaman Prabhu, you have a lot of clout all over the world. Why are you not taking help from international communities, your international lawyers and all of them who are out there? Just go and ask for help. So many devotees of ISKCON out there.
Actually, the only government matters is government of Bangladesh. Bangladesh government has to do needful on the ground so that peace is maintained. So we just appeal to government of Bangladesh to care for their minorities, and whatever is needed, that should be done. But this is most unfortunate when Chinmay Krishna Das, not even a single lawyer could come to defend him, was the most unfortunate thing.
So, Mr. Radharaman, of course, it's very much visible, and we are sure the government of Bangladesh also very well knows, but everybody talks about, let's see what they do, but we can't actually see. Things are only getting from bad to worse. It's first, a monk is incarcerated, he's put in jail, and then he gets no one to even defend himself. And the example these radical Islamists are putting up, no other lawyer would come forward because they also have a threat to life. They also worry for their life. Now, what can be done next? Is the ISKCON taking any concrete steps now?
We feel very helpless, and we are just praying to Krishna to save these innocent souls there in Bangladesh. Actually, I don't have any words or plan that how to move forward, but we hope that the world is watching, and what happened today in the court is so unfortunate. Even we know that, even the worst type of criminal, murderer, they also get representation by their lawyers. But this monk who is there in the jail for, some very sketchy complaint about, disrespecting or false complaint about disrespecting the flag, national flag, which is also many people commented that it is a false case. And for that, he is not being allowed to be represented by advocate by targeting them. So that is very unfortunate.
Radharaman Prabhu, Regan Acharya, let's come back to this lawyer who has been attacked. His chamber has been vandalized. We have that video where his name is written, Regan Acharya. Hindus are being attacked, their lawyers are being attacked, and your devotees are being attacked. Now, will you give some advice or advisory do's and don'ts to your devotees, to the ISKCON devotees, that they should follow right now to protect their lives? Their lives are at stake. And look at this, Regan Acharya is lying there, all head broken, legs broken. What would you advise to the Hindus and ISKCON devotees?
They should stay very carefully. I had actually speaking with few devotees in Bangladesh. Last week we saw that few of our devotees on the street, congregation devotees, they were attacked so brutally that they were bleeding from their face. And why they were attacked? Because for wearing tulsi kanthi mala or having tilak. So that's why we have told them to avoid this thing and to be careful in public.
Well, exactly, Radharaman Prabhu, thank you so much for joining with us. And there, Rakshita, Radharaman Prabhu made it very clear that they feel helpless. Now, we see the lawyers brutalized and attacked. They can
understand its teaching, and then definitely there can be change. And there are so many examples all over the world that people are practicing spirituality nicely, reading Bhagavad Gita, and their life has been transformed. And we can see that brotherhood in those community. So it need to be spread widely so that we can stop all this thing that is going on. Thank you. Harish.
Remember, Kishore, I think, is still with us, and the lawyers have been targeted and attacked, and around 51 people have been attacked. And this individual you see to the right of your screens was also there when Chinmay Krishna Das was making his first appearance. Thank you so much, Kishore, for joining us with those details. We'll keep coming back to you for more on that. But viewers, we will get you more updates on what's happening, because the chorus for justice is only growing louder. You can see to the left side of your screens there are the visuals coming in from national capital. Hanuman Gadi of Ayodhya, the chief priest of the temple, Mahant Raju Das, leading the march there in the national capital, demanding action, demanding central government's intervention as well. All right, viewers, so now just a day after the protesters had stormed the Bangladeshi High Commission the Bangladeshi consulate in Agartala, Tripura, Delhi police stepped up security around the Bangladeshi High Commission in Chanakyapuri of New Delhi. And with the winter session of the parliament also underway, Section 163 of the Bharatiya Nagrik Suraksha Sanhita, which prohibits the assembly of 5 or more people, is in force in the central part of Delhi. So remember, there have been pan-India protests. Of course, the national capital and Kolkata is witnessing a lot of marches, even in Washington DC, outside the White House. There was a protest march that was held by Hindu groups. My colleague Gopi has filed this report from the protest side outside Bangladeshi Commission in New Delhi. Take a look at this report.
Just a while back, Hindu Seva Sangathan Trust, which is led by Raju Mahantadas ji of Hanuman Gadi, had led a protest here outside Max Muller Marg, which is near the United Nations. They have raised 4 important demands, which where they have suggested that there should be UN intervention, and we will just ask Bangladesh के खिलाफ अभी जो प्रोटेस्ट हो रहा है उसके लिए आप क्या कहेंगे, आपकी क्या डिमांड?
हम जो वसुधैव कुटुंबकम का नारा देने वाले हैं, आज स्थिति आ गई है कि हमें धरना प्रदर्शन करना पड़ रहा है और इससे आगे स्थिति ना हो, इससे अच्छा है कि सरकार इस पे उचित कार्रवाई करे।
So these are the kind of voices that we are in fact getting from the protest side. We'll speak to one more महंत जी, आज यहाँ पे आपने प्रोटेस्ट किया है, आपकी क्या मांगे हैं?
देखिए, बांग्लादेश में हमारे हिंदुओं के प्रति जितना जघन्य अत्याचार हो रहा है, अभी आप देखेंगे कि वहाँ के पुजारी जी को अरेस्ट किया गया, कल वकील साहब बात करने गए, उनको भी उन्होंने प्रताड़ित किया है। इन सारी चीज़ों को कहा गया है कि भारत की तरफ से हिंदुओं की रक्षा के लिए आज हम लोग यूनाइटेड में अपनी बात रखे हैं। 5 मांगे रखें कि हमारे धर्म की रक्षा हो, हमारे संतों की रक्षा हो, हमारे जो हिंदू वहाँ प्रवासी रहते हैं उनकी रक्षा हो। इन सारी चीज़ों को लेकर के आज ये प्रोटेस्ट हुआ है।
The protesters have been detained. Let's speak to a few more people. जो आपकी क्या मांगे?
मैम, बांग्लादेशी हिंदुओं पर जो अत्याचार हो वो बंद होना चाहिए। बांग्लादेशी हिंदुओं का अत्याचार बंद होना चाहिए। हम चाहते हैं हमारी सरकार वहाँ जाके हिंदुओं की रक्षा करे, क्योंकि अब वहाँ की सरकार नहीं कर सकती है और हमारा और एक ही हिंदू देश बचा है। अगर हम नहीं निकलते आज घर से बाहर तो हिंदुओं की रक्षा कौन करेगा? अगर यही ऐसा चलता रहा तो हम हिंदुओं की रक्षा कौन करेगा? हम मोदी सरकार से मांग करते हैं, मोदी सरकार आप वहाँ हिंदुओं की रक्षा कीजिए। फर्जी चंदों को बाहर निकलिए कि को मारिया जाके वहाँ यहाँ सरेआम यहाँ काटे जा रहा है, हमें बहन में तो इज्जत लूटा जा रहा है, हम नहीं छोड़ेंगे।
All right, we shift our focus to Maharashtra, viewers. Amid the continued suspense around the next Maharashtra Chief Minister, a top Shinde Sena leader set the cat amongst the pigeons with a cryptic remark. A minister in the previous Shinde government, Mahayuti government, Deepak Kesarkar, now says that any decision on the Chief Minister should not be at the cost of Eknath Shinde's honour. Listen in.
As suspense in Maharashtra continued to build around the next Chief Minister, a top Shiv Sena leader came out in support of party chief Eknath Shinde. Deepak Kesarkar, a minister in the previous Mahayuti government, responded to the claims that a decision on the new Chief Minister was being delayed because of Shinde's illness. Kesarkar said that any decision on the new Chief Minister should not come at the cost of Shinde's honour.
ये अलग किस्म के शिंदे साहब है, वो तो महाराष्ट्र की एक शान है और उन्होंने बहुत अच्छा काम करके दिखाया है। लोकसभा का जो रिज़ल्ट था उसके बावजूद ही अच्छा रिज़ल्ट आ गया। इसमें तो सबसे ज़्यादा क्रेडिट मोदी साहब को ही है, लेकिन फिर भी उनके लीडरशिप में सब हुआ है। बहुत अच्छे सोशल स्कीम्स उन्होंने लाए, सोशल वेलफेयर स्कीम्स। तो इस सब का ये इफ़ेक्ट है कि एक अच्छी सरकार बने महाराष्ट्र में और उनका जो मान है वो भी रखा जाए, क्योंकि उन्होंने इतनी मेहनत की है।
Rumours have been rife suggesting that Shinde was deliberately delaying the process of naming the next Chief Minister. However, Kesarkar refuted these claims as unfounded.
गवर्नमेंट तो फॉर्म हो रही है, 5 तारीख को तो शपथ भी दी है, तो ऐसा लोग क्यों बोलते हैं मुझे मालूम नहीं है। ये तो एक मिसकंसेप्ट है कि गवर्नमेंट फॉर्म नहीं हो रही है इसका कारण एकनाथ शिंदे जी है, बिल्कुल नहीं है। देखिए, ऑब्जर्वर तो बीजेपी ने आज अपॉइंट किए, आज ही नाम अनाउंस हो गए, तो उनकी मीटिंग हो जाएंगे, उनका नेता चुना जाएगा और बाद में वो महाराष्ट्र में शपथ ले लेगा। और शिंदे साहब ने तो क्लियर कट 5 दिन पहले बोला है कि मुझे कोई ये नहीं है, जो मोदी साहब और शाह साहब बोलेंगे मेरे लिए वो फाइनल।
He reiterated Shinde's remarks in a press conference earlier that he will not impede or cause any hindrance to the BJP in naming the new Chief Minister of Maharashtra.
जो मुख्यमंत्री पद के बारे में तय करेंगे उसको मेरा पूरा समर्थन मैंने ऑलरेडी दे दिया है पूरी तरह मैंने मेरा समर्थन दिया है। उसके लिए कोई किंतु परंतु नहीं है। पूरा स्पष्टता से मैंने कहा है, मैं पूरी स्पष्टता से मेरी भूमिका व्यक्त करने वाला कार्यकर्ता हूं और मैंने पूरी तरह कहा है मोदी जी अमित भाई जो कहेंगे उसे पूरा हमारा समर्थन है।
Jaishankar meanwhile said Fadnavis was the front runner to be the next chief minister.
90% 99% तो देवेंद्र फडणवीस से मुझे लगता है, लेकिन वो तो आफ्टर ऑल उनके नेशनल लीडरशिप डिसाइड करती है, तो अच्छा डिसीजन ले। हमारे लिए वो बहुत करीबी नेता है, तो वो और शिंदे साहब दोनों को हम लोग चाहते हैं, या तो शिंदे साहब बने या तो फडणवीस साहब बने, लेकिन शिंदे साहब का भी ऑनर रखना चाहिए ऐसे मुझे लगता है।
While 10 days have rolled since the Mahayuti's landslide win in the assembly elections, the wait for the next Maharashtra Chief Minister continues.
Focus to some other stories that are making news from across the country. News coming in from more news. In fact, we are getting to you from Maharashtra. Vijay Rupani, BJP Central Observer for Maharashtra, expressed confidence that the BJP has emerged as the single largest party and stated that it is likely that this time a BJP member will assume the role of Chief Minister in Maharashtra.
नहीं, वैसे मुझे लगता है कि सबसे बड़ी पार्टी भारतीय जनता पार्टी बनी है। दूसरा, शिंदे जी ने ही स्टेटमेंट दिया था कि भाजपा के सीएम बने तो मुझे कोई तकलीफ नहीं है। तो मुझे लगता है, मेरी बात नहीं हुई लेकिन मुझे लगता है कि इस बार बारी भाजपा के सीएम बनने की होगी, ऐसी संभावना है।
BJP President Virendra Sachdeva leads Delhi BJP minority mortar demonstration near Aam Aadmi Party convener Arvind Kejriwal's residence over Aam Aadmi Party MLA Naresh Balyan. Balyan has been arrested in connection with that 2023 extortion case. Arrest follows the release of an audio clip by the BJP purportedly featuring the Aam Aadmi Party legislator from Uttam Nagar instructing gangster Kapil Sangwan, also known as Nandu.
प्रश्न ये नहीं है कि उनको सजा होगी कि नहीं, प्रश्न ये है कि अरविंद केजरीवाल का क्या स्टैंड है। प्रश्न ये है कि आम आदमी पार्टी का क्या स्टैंड है। 2016 की घटना के बाद भी एक शब्द आपने उनके इस बारे में नहीं, इसका मतलब उनका मूक समर्थन है उस एमएलए के साथ।
Police evict farmers protesting at Dalit Prerna Sthal in Noida. Farmers from different parts of Uttar Pradesh demand adequate compensation for their lands acquired by the government, marched towards Delhi, but was stopped at the Noida-Delhi border where they sat on a dharna. Bharatiya Kisan Parishad led leader Sukhbir Khalifa was leading the protest. Shiromani Akali Dal leaders Daljit Singh Cheema, Bikram Singh Majithia and Maheshinder Singh Grewal has carried out a symbolic act of penance by cleaning the toilets at the Golden Temple in Amritsar following a religious punishment issued by the Akal Takht. Before the punishment was announced, Sukhbir Badal had publicly admitted his mistakes, including the pardon of Dera Sacha Sauda Chief Gurmeet Ram Rahim Singh. Cyclone Fenjal caused widespread devastation, bringing record rainfall and flooding to Puducherry and parts of Tamil Nadu. Puducherry recorded 48.4 centimeters of rainfall in 24 hours. Meanwhile, Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin conducted a review meeting with concerned ministers who were present in the flood-affected areas. Samajwadi Party Chief Akhilesh Yadav accused the Yogi Adityanath-led UP government of thrusting violence upon Sambhal district to steer attention from the police oppression during the recently concluded by-poll elections.
सुनियोजित नहीं होती, प्लान्ड नहीं होती, तो आप ये बताइए, चुनाव पे इतनी चर्चा हो रही थी, चुनाव में वोट लूटा गया, आपके लोग भी कैमरे वाले होंगे, वो जानते होंगे किस तरीके से वोट लूटा गया। क्या कुंदरखी में मुसलमान भाइयों को वोट डालने दिया? क्या मीरापुर में वोट डालने दिया? क्या कटहरी में मुस्लिम को वोट डालने दिया? ये जानबूझ करके पुलिस के माध्यम से चुनाव लूटा और लूट पर चर्चा न हो, इसलिए।
All right, we have breaking news coming in right now. Protests happening in Ayodhya now, the city of Lord Ram, the Ram Nagri, and you can see the saffron flags protesters raising slogans showing solidarity for the Hindus in Bangladesh. Listen into the reactions.
हो रहे अत्याचार, हिंदुओं का कत्लेआम, महिलाओं बेटियों के साथ बलात्कार, सनातन धर्म के प्राचीन मंदिरों को तोड़ने का काम, इन सब का जो नृशंस कार्य हो रहे हैं बांग्लादेश में आतंकवादियों द्वारा और ऐसे लोगों द्वारा जो बांग्लादेश में सत्ता पर काबिज हो गए हैं, अयोध्या वासियों ने आक्रोश व्यक्त करने का काम किया है पूज्य संत महंतों की अगुवाई में, विश्व हिंदू परिषद की अगुवाई में, और ये अयोध्या से संदेश पूरे देश के अंदर जा रहा है कि पूरे देश का हिंदू आक्रोशित है। और निश्चित रूप से हम कह सकते हैं कि इस आक्रोश का परिणाम आएगा या तो वो हमारे हिंदू समाज को सम्मान दिलाने का काम, मंदिरों में जो तोड़ा गया है उनको पुनः जीर्णोद्धार हो, और हिंदू समाज को जो वहाँ पर आतंकवाद के द्वारा हिंदू समाज को प्रताड़ित करने का काम किया जा रहा है। आज मैं कह सकता हूँ पूरी दुनिया के अंदर इसके खिलाफ आवाज़ उठी है और अयोध्या से ये आवाज़ जारी पूरे देश के अंदर। आज उसी जन आक्रोश रैली में हम लोग चल रहे हैं और एक संदेश पूरे देश को दे रहे हैं अयोध्या से।
राम जन्मभूमि
इसमें राम जन्मभूमि तीर्थ क्षेत्र के महामंत्री श्री चंपत राय जी भी इसमें थे, क्योंकि वो विश्व हिंदू परिषद से ही है। तो ये सबकी सम्मिलित रैली है, इसमें हर समाज के, हर धर्म के, हर वर्ग के लोग शामिल थे।
कहाँ से कहाँ तक रैली का?
ये गुलाबबाड़ी से लेकर और गांधी पार्क तक इसको निकालने का काम हुआ है, चौक होते हुए, रकाबगंज होते हुए।
All right, time for a very short break, viewers. But the chorus for justice for Bangladeshi Hindus continues. Pan-India protests, in fact, the call for justice reverberating across the globe. We'll get you more on that. Stay tuned.
Sorry, Doc. मनी, सफीना, शादी कैसी चल रही है?
मैं बताएगी। आइस बोला था लाने को, लद्दाख चला गया। पूछा फोन पे इतना बिजी क्यों है, तो क्या बोला तू? हाँ, माउंटेन्स वर कॉलिंग। इतना पहाड़ों के साथ गुलू गुलू करेगा तो धोप तुएंगी ना इसको।
डॉक्टर जहांगीर, मैं उड़ना चाहता हूँ, दौड़ना चाहता हूँ, बस इस घर में रुकना नहीं चाहता। बट क्यों? उस दिन सनसेट देखने छज्जे पे चढ़ा, टूट गया। I don't feel safe.
हाँ, तू किसने बोला घर की दीवार पे रॉक क्लाइंबिंग करने को?
सफीना, बदतमीजी। समझ गया। मेरे पास आप दोनों की प्रॉब्लम की मेडिसिन है। इसको घर पे लगाओगे तो शादी का तो पता नहीं, पर घर पक्का नहीं टूटेगा।
रुंगटा नहीं तो घर स्ट्रॉन्ग नहीं। रुंगटा स्टील TMT बार एकदम सॉलिड।
पहाड़ों में एक हाइकिंग शिप भी बन सकती है।
All right, viewers, we slip into a short break, but don't go anywhere. We'll get you the latest development from the Lok Sabha. External Affairs Minister Dr. Jaishankar makes a statement on border thaw, says no ties with China without peace on border.
अलग ही नर्वसनेस है, खुशी है एक्चुअली कि इन सब के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखने का मौका मिला। जैसे मैं पहले से कह रहा हूं, आज भी दोबारा कहना चाहूंगा देश की जनता से आपके माध्यम से कि प्लीज जाएं अपने सिनेमाघरों में, द साबरमती रिपोर्ट को देखें, अपना प्यार दें। और ये मेरे ख्याल से पर्सनली अगर आप मुझसे पूछें तो मेरी लाइफ का सबसे हाईएस्ट पॉइंट है मेरे करियर में, माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी के साथ बैठ के फिल्म देखना। थैंक यू सो मच।
From Asia's largest news headquarters, setting the agenda for Bharat. You're watching Republic.
We are clear that the maintenance of peace and tranquility in border areas is a prerequisite for the development of our ties.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar gives a statement in Parliament on border thaw, says no ties with China without peace. S. Jaishankar in Lok Sabha also says that the disengagement in Ladakh is now complete. Opposition creates chaos in Parliament over banking laws. A BJP takes on Congress as banking sector was on ventilator. ISKCON monk Chinmoy Krishnadas gets no legal aid in Bangladesh to spend a month in jail as his bail hearing has been deferred. Eknath Shinde leaves hospital after routine check-up to hold a meeting with his cadre. And cutting across to a breaking news that's coming in from Srinagar, where one of the two terrorists involved in the brutal killing of civilians has been killed in an encounter. Junaid Bhatt, top commander of Lashkar, has been killed in operation of Srinagar police. LAC top commander neutralized in police operation in Srinagar. Junaid Bhatt has been neutralized. Forces avenged the killing of 7 civilians in Ganderbal by the terrorists. One of the two terrorists involved in that brutal killing of civilians has now been neutralized, killed in an encounter in Srinagar. Junaid Bhatt has been eliminated. He was the top commander of Lashkar. He's been killed in a police operation in Srinagar. Big win for forces now. Gursimran is live with us to give us more details of the encounter where Junaid Bhatt has been eliminated. Gursimran, tell us more details.
See, what we are picking from the sources in the Jammu and Kashmir police, that a major success for the forces, as the forces have been able to neutralize one of the top commander of Lashkar-e-Toiba, Junaid Ramzan Bhatt, who was from the Kulgam, South Kashmir, and he was active in the North Kashmir. He was behind the brutal terror attack on the October 20 on the civilians in the Ganderbal's Gagangir area, wherein the workers of the Zedmore Tunnel Construction Company, Aptech Company, they were targeted by these terrorists backed by Pakistan, and they killed 7 innocent civilians. That also includes a doctor, and these civilians, they were doing the work, they were earning their livelihood from that very place. But these terrorists, these brutal terrorists equipped with the M4 series rifle and also AK series rifles, they barged inside the camp and they opened the indiscriminate firing, in which 7 civilians, including Shashi Bhushan Abrol from the Jammu, 3 from outside the Jammu and Kashmir, they were killed by these terrorists in a brutal terror attack. And since then, the security forces were on hunt for these terrorists. Today, based on a special Indo-Pacific intelligence input that was generated by the Srinagar police and was further developed by the Cargo Srinagar. An operation was launched late last night, but the terrorists managed to give escape. But today morning, they were once again trapped, and the security forces has been able to neutralize one of the deadliest terrorists of Kashmir Valley, that is Junaid Ramzan Bhatt, top commander of Lashkar-e-Toiba. And this is a big success for the forces. Reason being that he was involved in the brutal massacre of the civilians in the Gandarbal a couple of months ago. And the Jammu and Kashmir police, along with the security forces, they have made it amply clear that the civilians, if targeted, or any attempt of the Pakistani terrorists and the Pakistani-backed terrorists, that will be given a befitting reply. And now those killings have been avenged by the Jammu and Kashmir police along with the security forces.
Oh, well, absolutely. Let's also go across to Zeenat, who's joining us live as well. Zeenat, one of the key cogs of the Lashkar-e-Taiba has been taken down. Does this mean that we can expect the organization, the terror organization, to be weakened now?
See, definitely it is a body blow that has come to the LET, because the Junaid, as we have early in the morning also reported, that it is Junaid who has been trapped in this upper reaches of the Dachigam, and they were tracking him since October 20th, when the attack against the civilians took place in Zadmohar tunnel, which is near the Sonmarg's Gagangir area. There had been multiple recces that had been being carried by the Indian Army along with the other forces, but you see the ridge where he has been neutralized is dominated by the Indian Army's 50 RR unit, and the input had come from 50 RR, who have been doing the operations in the belt for a long time. In the Kashmir Valley and in Srinagar, if the operations are carried in the outskirts of Srinagar, these operations are carried by the Indian Army. Today also in this operation, the Junaid Ramzan Bhatt, who comes from the Koimu Kulgam, the South Kashmir belt, he has been neutralized. He's a LET's A category terrorist, responsible for multiple killings of the civilians and the security forces in the last couple of years since he has been active. There was the hunt that was launched by the police in South Kashmir as well as the North and the Central Kashmir. Two were alerted about his movement since he was seen last time in the Gagangir of Sonmarg, where through the CCTV footage, it was quite clear that it is Junaid Ramzan Bhatt who has carried the attack against the civilians in the Zadmohar tunnel. Zadmohar tunnel is one of the strategic important tunnels that connects Sonmarg, the Central Kashmir, with the Ladakh for its multiple convoy movements for the civilian, and then this kind of tracks usually face the snow issues. So that makes it helpful for those population who live on these belts to make their movements in the harsh winters. It is a success because in this operation, not only the M4 carbine rifle has been recovered, but a Junaid who has been active for some time and was carrying the deadly attacks against the civilians and the security forces. His neutralization was very important since he carried the Gagangir attack. We have been seeing, in fact, the GOC Victor Force, or we talk about the Victor Force that carries the operation in the South Kashmir, they have been doing the recce for almost 1 month in the upper belt of Dachigam. Every day used to be 3 to 4 cassos to scan and the search or to flush out the terrorists who are taking the shelter in these kind of ridges, because this ridge, the Zabarwan, the upper Dachigam belt, it is around 114 square kilometer. It's a national park, Dachigam National Park, that has an area of 114 kilometers. That tells you that it's a vast area and terrorists get a help to move from one place to another, and because of the topography of this kind of ridge gives an edge to terrorists. But then we see that the kind of deployment that has been done by the Indian Army on these ridges, that definitely helps them to neutralize the terrorists, though terrorists do try to make the movements through the north, south and the central through these kind of mountain ridges. But overall we see that success come to the security forces. Definitely it is a credit to 50 RR this time, who managed this operation very swiftly, and the operation was done without any collateral damage. Similarly, as the lower belt was concerned of the Harwan that comes with the Jammu and Kashmir police, Srinagar police, the joint operation was carried, where they not only managed the civilian movement, although entry and exit points were sealed, because when you carry the operation along the ridges, so definitely the bullet can fire from any direction, taking every precautions into the count, the civilian movement were restricted almost for around 8 to 9 kilometers around the Harman area. So it do became a bit cumbersome journey for the commuters, but overall we see the lives were saved. So people do had the issues in the traffic, but the moment they came to know that it is an anti-terror operation that is taking place on the upper belt, so they were also cooperating with the Jammu and Kashmir police. We have been seeing the operations earlier in Srinagar, in Kanyar, where almost the ice broke almost after 2 years when the Srinagar witnessed an encounter in Kanyar, and there a foreign terrorist, a Pakistani terrorist, was neutralized. This time a local, a luck to Indian Army along with J&K police that they managed to neutralize Junaid Ramzan Bhatt, who was involved in the killings or recent killings of the Gagangir civilians. The attack took place on the 20th of October this year.
All right, I'm also joined in now by retired Wing Commander Praful Bakshi on the phone line with us. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Junaid Bhatt has been taken down, and this clearly means that the forces have avenged the killings of the civilians in Gagangir. What do we see ahead now? Does this mean that Lashkar-e-Taiba will now be weakened as a terror organization?
Thank you very much. Well, I'm honestly very happy with this successful operation, but let me tell you one thing. They are not short of any leaders and terrorists who have to fight. They have abundance of them, and they'll be replaced. There's no doubt about it. Don't think that by killing one person or two persons, they are going to stop. However, the point to note out here is that the coordination of the security forces and their intelligence, that prior intelligence will make them conduct the operation not only smoothly but without any civilian casualties. That is remarkable. And we would like to, because this happens only when there is very good coordination and there is a distinct advantage which has been given by prior intelligence. So that be so, but I would like to tell you that all these terrorists, when they come and operate, how do they get their logistics? How do they get their help? They get their help, logistics, etc., from sleeper cells, which are also a number of them, very large number of people, common people who are around in the valley. They are helping the outsider. This has to first go, and I would also like to tell you, though it may sound bitter, that even the local authorities, especially police, etc., they know about who is the terrorist and who is the sleeper cell. Without a Thanedar knowing in his area that where is the sleeper, who is the sleeper cells, who are helping, it's not possible. Every Thanedar, right from Srinagar to Coimbatore to Cape Comorin, will know where is the terrorist. But we have to, that is why we have all the forces under one command and control. Until you have command and control, then only you will get successful operations and these terrorists will stop functioning. They will then only be on the run. And secondly, thirdly, you have to get them into, the drag into your net right in the beginning where they come into India from the POK side or from all other side. Wherever they are coming from, until we go and occupy and destroy and occupy those places, it will not be possible. That is why our aggressive operations must start immediately. Then only you can stop them. Then all the pressure which is coming in the valley from outside will cease because they will be under pressure. So we have to now get the fight across the border into their area. Then only it will happen. Otherwise, it will continue this match. They will come, we'll kill few. I guess there will be a respite for about few weeks. Then they'll come. They'll come. For the last 18 years, I've been speaking on these channels or this only. They'll keep coming. So I personally feel we have to do something aggressively into their area, command and control point, which I told you, and sleeper cells. Start pointing out. All Kashmiri Pandits' house, which has been occupied by those people, are sleeper cells. We have to do it. But only thing is, political will, which is now there, let's take advantage of it.
Right. All right. Thank you. Praful Bakshi, for joining us. I'm also now joined in by retired Colonel Anurag Shukla, who's a defense expert with us on the phone line. Very good afternoon to you, Anurag Shukla. Now, Praful Bakshi was talking about the importance of having a central command and the menace of the sleeper cell that he says needs to be completely uprooted. What do you think should be the other measures that our forces should actively take up for a complete elimination of the terror nexus in the valley?
Definitely, I just want to introduce myself. I have been in the thick of insurgency from 2001 to 2003, and I have seen many encounters as such, and I can just congratulate to the armed forces, our security forces who have done a tremendous good job. They have neutralized the commander of Lashkar-e-Toiba awfully, what they call it TRF now. And just I want to celebrate this victory because we have taken the revenge of the most dreaded attack which they have done in October when they killed 6+1, yani one doctor and 6 laborers they killed on the very cowardly attack. This kind of attack has shown that what kind of approach these terrorists have taken place in last few years, where they have been tremendous under pressure. They were not able to do anything to the security forces, and we have been eliminating most of the terrorists in last 2 years, if you see. And even in this year, if you see the compared to last few years, terrorist attack has been almost reduced very drastically. Our intelligence network has become a very strong, and you see if this operation could be carried out without any civil casualty, which shows the professionalism our security forces have achieved, and they are doing so professional job. This is a clear warning to all the forces who are targeting India, which is sitting across the country, and they are looking forward. They should be very much alarmed, and I give them warning that do not dare, I repeat, do not dare to enter India. You will be eliminated brutally. And this is what we have done today. It is time for celebration, I must admit, and I just want to congratulate all the security forces.
Right, absolutely. Thanks for joining us. Big congratulations to the forces from our end for winning this battle. Viewers, we're also in fact getting in reactions from the family members of those who were killed in Gagangir. Let's show you some of those.
कितनी खुशी